So, you guys, I got bored of reacting to the people that I was reacting to. If you've been around my channel long enough, you notice that I switch up. I try to switch up, but I came across being sick and all, slowly getting my voice, coughing every 20 seconds, whatever. My YouTube recommendation timeline thingy got cleaned up, which I'm like thankful. So I fall into this rabbit hole of the trans drama. You guys, it's insane. And the people I'm going to be depicting, I just want to make it very clear. It does not depict every single trans channel because a lot of them have wholesome channels. But YouTube recommended me the messiest of the messiest because they know I'm a messy bitch. But you guys, I saw it. You know the drill. Now you guys also have to see it. So the name of the channel of this video, the channel name is Ladhead. And it's something else, you guys. I think I hit a gold mine with this one. I'll be interested in this one for like this channel at least for like a good 3 months. It's a gold mine. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? It is. Mwah. Thank you, YouTube guys. Thank you, YouTube algorithm guys. They gave me the right one. But let's get into it.
So, local news estimates that Hurricane Helene was the worst storm that my county has experienced since the 1910s. That means that it's been over a century since we've had flooding and wind like this.
Okay, so this is the leader, the owner of the channel. I'll say the leader. There's something nefarious going on here. And her channel name is Ladhead. And if you guys need me to what is that called? If you need me to link it in my description, leave a comment, let me know that. But yeah.
I personally have never seen anything like the destruction I saw last week. Nothing even close. When we eventually did have to go out again, I spent about 4 hours on a drive that would normally take me about 45 minutes, almost all spent trying to find any route through the city that hadn't been blocked by gigantic trees or fallen power lines or flooding. We saw cars that were submerged up to their windows, ambulances from halfway across the state towing emergency rescue boats, sinkholes that looked like something out of a superhero movie, houses and businesses that had been utterly destroyed by fallen trees and wind and floodwater, tons and tons and tons of people moving on foot through horrible conditions trying to get to one of the couple convenience stores that had been opened up again. And of course, undercover cop cars that were still trying to catch people speeding in spite of the emergency. Even as I write this, I hear FEMA helicopters in the distance delivering supplies and evacuating people. Luckily, our house is on a hill, so we've mostly been safe, but all around us there's just destruction. I've never had a storm that knocked out my cell service before, but as near as I can tell, everybody in town's been relying on word of mouth and radio to communicate any of these conditions to one another.
Oh, and also to let you guys know is that I have this video sped up at 1.5. So when he speaks, maybe you might want to slow her down. But I forgot to throw that in.
I have no idea if my biological family is safe right now, though I have reason to assume that they are, and they have no idea if I'm safe, although they have reason to assume that I'm not. A couple of things need to be established before we move forward. So, my fiancé and I have basically taken in these two kids, a 19-year-old boy and a 20-year-old girl, and...
So, along as I cover Ladhead, and along with somebody else, I haven't introduced you guys to them yet. It sounds like these people are taking in vulnerable trans kids or people who are discarded by their families because of their sexuality or orientation or whatever. And they're trying to create these dystopian families, if I'm saying that correctly. And one thing you need to understand, when she says her kids, these are grown adults, they're 18, 19-year-olds. What she means is that the roommates. So every once in a while, it might get annoying in this video. I'm going to keep on saying that so you guys understand how insane this is. She's talking about her roommates.
Have started raising them as their own, basically. Everything from helping them with doctor's appointments to teaching them how to fix a car to giving them the kinds of life lessons that their biological families really should have been teaching them.
Okay, so you see the level of insanity? You just meet these people in your discords. You're assuming the families never taught them anything. And you're taking this role as their parents, which is the bizarrest thing I've ever heard or seen. You guys, this whole thing is bizarre. I'm losing my train of thought because it's like my brain is shooting out so much. My mouth cannot catch up. It's bizarre. Bear with me. Let's keep on going.
Well, tomorrow's video is going to be exploring this dynamic in a bit more detail. For now, you should just take it as read that my fiancé and I are mothers in all but an official legal capacity. Anyways, back to the journal. The Fount family and I have been really scared for a couple days now, with the three eldest, which includes myself, kind of taking charge and trying to make sure that everything's handled, leaving buckets out to collect rain so that we can use it to flush the toilets, making sure the kids know that they should be eating perishable foods first, things like that.
Again, when they say kids, she means the roommates. Fucking A, man. Yeah, she means the fucking roommates.
To be honest, times like this actually kind of remind me of Star Trek, specifically the idea of the captain needing to project confidence no matter how scared or hopeless they are so that their crew can be at their best. Believe me when I say that I have been scared out of my mind. I spent like 5 hours straight on day 2 just out here in the wind, just staring at that tree, listening to the echoes of all the other trees falling around all over the neighborhood.
I mean, wherever they camped at, I'm enjoying the nature. I'm enjoying the trees around the surrounding. I'm liking that. But they are your roommates. They're not your kids. They are your roommates.
Hoping to God that my home wasn't about to be destroyed. This tree very well could have fallen and just crushed all of our dreams. I saw a ton of larger trees that had been knocked down. But when my son woke me up in the middle of the night with a panic attack after his ceiling started leaking water, you can bet that I was swallowing all of that fear and telling him that it was going to be okay and that
Again, the so-called son is a roommate. I can hate these people. I have the biggest smile on my face, but they frustrate me. Honey, it's your roommate.
bamboo was eating up all the wind, only to just return to flinching at every single noise and shaking like a puppy on the 4th of July the second I got out of his sight. It's funny how parts of your mind, like fear, can just go completely dormant when you have to take action in extreme circumstances like a panic attack. My station amongst all of this has been to pretend like I know what I'm doing. I know a little bit about emergency situations, but most of my job here has just been improvising measures, like filling up the fridge with all our drinks so that it takes longer for everything to warm up once the power goes out, all while forgetting basic steps like filling up the sinks and bathtubs so that we don't have to rely on rainwater to flush toilets. It's all done with the intent of making the kids feel like I thought of everything so that they'll hopefully trust me when I tell them to not try to go to work.
And one thing I must admit, I do love her style of vlogging or storytelling, whatever the hell you call this. I do like this style. I'm enjoying this a lot. It's very artistic. I'm in.
To make sure all their devices are at 100% battery power until the second the power goes out. I don't really know what I'm doing in a situation like this, but I need the kids to think I do, because however scared I am, they're going to be twice as scared if I show it.
Again, the kids are the roommates. The kids are the roommates.
Luckily for me, I have my fiancé, and she's someone that I can be scared around without worrying about giving her a panic attack. On the night of day 2, when the power was out, we finally went to bed only to realize that the small amount of moonlight coming through the window wasn't enough to penetrate that pure, uncanny blackness filling our bedroom. I'm not someone who's really afraid of the dark whatsoever, but when it's pure blackness to where I can't even see my hands an inch away from my face like that, I just get extremely uncomfortable. That level of darkness just does not exist in nature, at least not above ground. Frankly, it's way too freaky.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, what? Oh, okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. Like, okay, all right.
For me, and it makes me feel like I'm tripping balls, and makes me incredibly claustrophobic to boot. So, as anxious and on edge as she was, my fiancé fashioned a little nightlight for me out of a solo cup and a flashlight, and it was the first time since I started work on that previous video, Honesty, that I slept without any nightmares. Found family has been a pretty prevalent theme in a lot of my videos this year, and while tomorrow's video is going to be all about my found family experience, this whole hurricane thing has been an incredible affirmation of all the things I feel for these people. The protectiveness and nurturing spirit I feel for the kids, the safety and trust that I place in my fiance.
Again, the kids are her roommates. Her roommates is what she refers to as her kids. Got it.
The codependence and camaraderie I feel with the fifth one, let's call her my sister. It's easy to say we're a family, we can get through anything together when times are good, but to see us working together and acting as a family when things are this scary has been a really incredible experience. Honestly, given the fact that flooding isn't an issue that we have to worry about at this particular house, this whole thing has kind of felt like a camping trip to me. And as regular viewers will know, camping is something that I have desperately missed ever since my handicap took hold and made it impossible for me to do normally again. For all the fear and destruction and chaos and uncertainty, this whole experience has been extremely nostalgic for me too. Making shadow puppets and playing my guitar to try and fill the house with music, seeing more stars in the sky than I ever have before with the lights being off all over the region, not being able to distract myself from my situation with the internet or video games, even just resigning myself to not being able to shave my legs, somehow all of these horrifying circumstances are given way to an incredibly meditative, emotionally fulfilling headspace for myself. When you know that there's nothing you can do but try to enjoy the moment and find peace in your surroundings, all the world's pressures tend to just melt away. And to be able to share that experience of fear giving way to emotional triumph with a family who loves me and who I love so dearly, it's made me feel like I really made it in this life.
Again, this family is the revolving door of roommates.
I never thought I'd have anything like what I have with these people. I never thought I'd be relied upon and trusted like this. I never thought I'd see that many stars and get to share them with a fiance who finds just as much meaning in them as I do. I never thought I'd feel this much love from so many people at once. I never thought I'd go camping again. It seems like the better I feel about our situation, the more stressed my daughter is. Last night, we were trying to get up to my parents' house to tell them that we're okay and make sure they're okay. Luckily, we were able to find a path and make sure everybody was safe, but on the way up their road, we managed to get service again. We immediately pulled over to send all of our relevant messages to all the folk who were worried about us, and I sent out a tweet or two letting all of y'all know that we were alive and safe. When we got to my dad's house, we had our prayers answered. We were hoping that they'd have power and we could take a shower and top off our charges. No luck there, but what we did get was a propane tank and a camping stove, plus a couple solar lanterns. After hanging around at my parents' place for a bit, we rushed home and debated looting a destroyed dollar store.
Okay, so I got a little bit of the insights about her specifically from GoDammit Malcolm. They were rushed off from the parents' house because the parents did not want to deal with her insanity. Has nothing to do about her being trans. It had everything to do about this whole entire insanity. So imagine you showing up at your parents' house saying like, hey, yeah, we're in the storm, blah, 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 but here are my kids and my fiance and our kids. Can we all come in and parade in and take a shower? Like, can you imagine how insane that would be? And something like, hey, here are my friends and I, can we please come in and take a shower and, and then we'll take off. There's a huge difference there, but I think her parents know the level of insanity for them to just hand them over the necessity and shoo them off. There's a reason for that.
I might end up doing that tonight, and cooked up some ramen noodles and soup cans. First hot meal we'd had in a couple of days. Only issue is, our phone service went out very quickly after it came back in. Not the end of the world, we got our messages out to everybody that we needed to, but that's not quite how my daughter saw it. See, part of the reason I feel comfortable calling a 20-year-old my daughter is because she had a seriously stunted upbringing. She was in an online school up until she graduated and lived out in the sticks, so she never really had the means to make too many friends in real life because
Are you guys starting to get a little bit of a level of the ick and the insanity? What I mean by these people are insane. They're your roommates. These people are your roommates.
She lived in such a secluded place and spent the first 16 years of her life with no social company but her abusive uncle and her grandma, who was well past the end of her rope at that point, and the folks that she met online. She basically saw herself as a netrunner, or I guess an engram from Cyberpunk, only ever existing on the net, and that's the sole means by which she was able to interface with the world. She called it her digital haunt. I still remember just how overwhelmed she was when she first got here to this town, because it was her first time having solid proof that the people she meets in her computer are real people, and that there were places other than her hometown and her digital haunt. This experience has shown me just how badly we need to start working with her on all of that. First thing this morning, she told me that her and my son planned on driving up north.
The two roommates planned on driving up north. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to keep on doing this. The two roommates planned on driving up north. Not your kids, the adults, not your kids.
Basically just aimlessly searching for propane and cell service. Mind you, we've been getting service in and out ever since last night, and we've got plenty of propane to last us the next 4 or 5 days by my estimate. So, in my morning grouchiness, it seemed to me like she was planning on potentially getting lost up north just to send out a few more texts. That isn't really the full story. As I said, my sleepy, grouchy mind kind of oversimplified the situation. I know that there's a lot more going on in her head when she's making these plans than that, but I snapped at her a little bit, and I feel super bad about that. I suppose I should just be happy that the kids didn't decide to just leave without telling us like they did attempting to go to work the day before. It's a bad situation, though. My dad says that we should expect to not have power for another 10 days. I'm a bit more optimistic than that, but I'm still trying to figure out if telling the kids that number is the right call or not. If my daughter's this stressed about things on day 3 of the blackout, I genuinely don't know how manic she'll be hearing that it could be 10 days or more.
Listen, I thought my Canadian bacon and my Wednesday Addams, yes, they're delusional. They're beyond delusional. And these people are delusional in a different level. It is absolutely insane. And trust me, you guys, as far as we go through more videos, even more crazier it gets. But I am hooked. I'm sorry, you guys. I am hooked on this. But yeah, level of delusions. I need to find a way to live there.
I gave my son a little talk about how to help his sister keep her head on straight, but it's clear that being disconnected like this has been just violent for her psyche. There's a lot of specific trauma for her centered around the people she grew up with, all flipping off all the breakers to get the upper hand in a shouting match, so being without any light is something that's really triggering her anxiety. It's something that's got to be handled with a lot of care and over a much longer period of time than this destruction is hopefully going to last. Resupplying on food is going to be an issue we have to address, though. I'd like to think that if we can keep it to one hearty meal a day, we'll be able to stretch our resources long enough that we can wait for the supply chain to restabilize a little bit, but we may very well have to loot that dollar store, like I said. With all the card readers down all over town and the last of the cash money having been spent, it might be our only option if it stays like this for a couple more days.
I mean, on a serious note, from what you just said, if that's what you have to do to survive, you're just surviving a storm, and yeah, do what you gotta do to survive, man. Or woman, or man. Whatever, do what you gotta do. I would not fault them for this one, actually.
It's far from the end of the world if we do end up having to loot some food and candles that were just going to be thrown in a corporate dumpster anyways, but the name of the game is not taking any unnecessary risks, and there's definitely some risks involved with looting. Like the night before with the stars, the night of day 3 was really fun for me, though. When my dad was heading to bed, we saw that he had a fire going outside with just enough embers to potentially start it up again, so we put about an hour's worth of logs on there and just enjoyed the warmth for a little bit. Talked to the kids about camping, and our poor girl was adamantly opposed to the idea, seemingly.
Again, not your kid. It's your roommate. You're talking about your roommate, not your kids.
Traumatized at the prospect of being off the grid even for a night. Managed to convince her to let us set up a tent in the yard one of these nights, once everything's back to normal, so she can try it out under less scary circumstances. Once we got home, we set up the propane stove and cooked some food, and between the fun of cooking with an unconventional setup and how badly I've missed camping, it felt really damn nice to have the whole family sat around a pot and a flame, singing songs with my guitar, just enjoying the pure ecstasy of having warm food in us for the first time in 3 days of nothing but cold, uncooked food. As wholesome and loving as the whole situation felt to my fiancé and I, it was clear that my daughter was incredibly anxious about it all, though.
She means, again, her roommate. That's all. That's it.
Really, really hope she feels a bit better tomorrow night, but her anxiety's so bad even when everything is normal that I can't help but worry she's convinced we're all going to be dead by the end of the night. Well, day 4 went way better than I thought it would when I finished up that last journal entry. My fiance was woken up hours early, being called into work ahead of schedule when she really wanted to just stay here and help the family. She was not in a good mood whatsoever over this, but in order to improve her mood a bit, we sat the family around for a while her and I read chapters from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy to everybody. It was super sweet.
And you guys don't even think about asking me if I've seen this fiance because no, I haven't. We're gonna find out and see the fiance at the same time. No, I haven't. And no, I have never read the Guide to the Galaxy or some whatever that book is. I've never read it. I've never read it. But yeah.
Next thing I know, she's at work, and the kids and I are going to the gas station that our daughter works at to try and stock up on snack food and cigarettes. We kind of just needed a win. Well, a win we got. The store was open, and they were finally accepting debit cards, so cash money wasn't a problem anymore. I wound up getting a carton of cigarettes for my fiance and I, and all the snacks that we possibly could have needed for the next couple of days, as well as plenty of snacks for my fiance. Unfortunately,
we could have left that part out. We could have just left that part out. But at the same time, I can see why this chick has over 300,000 subscribers. The style of storytelling is very gripping. It draws you in. I get it. I see it. I see why people are so drawn to this content. But I still say there's something nefarious underlying through all of it.
junk food was really all that was available at the store, so restocking on actual meals is something that, at the time, we still needed to do, as much as we possibly can. But in the meantime, spirits were high and tasty snacks were all around us. We just had to stop at my dad's house to grab a couple other things that he wanted to give us. On the way there, my son was on the phone with his biological dad, being misgendered and disrespected left, right, and center, all while...
Okay, she means her roommate's blood family. Her roommate's blood family was talking to them. Biological. Her roommate. Okay.
being told to ditch us and go stay with him for a couple weeks. Hearing my son say, no, these guys are my family, I can't leave them to his flesh and blood, and then defend himself against the misgendering when his dad wouldn't let it go was really amazing. He's come such a long way when it comes to standing up for himself. Needless to say, though, he was pretty bummed about it all. I sent my dad a text.
Do you guys understand when I say something nefarious is going on here? Something underlying, something nefarious is going on? Just go back and rewind to her last statement, what she just said. Something nefarious is going on here.
Text ahead of our arrival, saying something along the lines of, hey, I know it's still a little weird for you, but I think our boy could really benefit from hearing you call him your grandson tonight. Things have been super rough with his biological family lately. Dad didn't quite feel comfortable calling this guy that he'd only met a couple of times before his grandson, but he put so much effort into making my kids feel like they had that familial love.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You're collecting all these people calling them your kids. They're not even that far, maybe like what, 5 years? You're 5 years older than them. You're calling them your kids, and you're expecting your father to call them their grandkids. I can't. I love this so much. I can't. You guys, I got my high spirits back. I was looking forward to reacting to this. This is fantastic. This is fantastic.
Dad was showing my son how to poke at the fireplace, just like he did when I was a kid, and listening intently as my daughter info-dumped to him about her creepypastas and her writing. It really was just the sweetest thing ever. I even heard my son say yes, sir, to my dad a couple times. And
You mean your roommates were having fun with your father? Your roommate. Not your kids, your roommates.
of course, on our way to go out and bring the cigarettes to my fiance's work, he hugged my parents, calling them grandma and grandpa. My daughter even said that my dad was, quote, everything she thought her uncle was when she was a kid. It was the first time that I'd seen my daughter smile since this whole thing started. In spite of her
Your female roommate. Your female roommate said this to you. Your female roommate, not your daughter. Roommate.
chronic anxiety, she looked totally relaxed sat by that fire with my dad. More relaxed than I've seen her in like over a year, to be honest. My son has always been really on board with the found family stuff, with us being his moms and helping him mature and learn to handle adulthood. But this was, I think, the first time that my daughter really started to see that there isn't just security, fun, and trust in family, but love. Obviously, she knows that we love her, but I think her preconceptions about herself have made that really difficult for her to accept. This time, though, it looked like she could really feel the love coming from these new extensions to her family. Seeing how happy my fiance was with the giant bag of sweets and cigarettes I gave her at work was just the icing on the cake to my day. Day 4 started out really rough, but man, it ended incredibly.
You have roommates. Again, you have roommates. And so basically, what I'm getting from this is F actually getting food, actual food, cigarettes. Cigarettes are going to give us nutrition. That's what we need is a carton of cigarettes instead of buying food. Got it.
We even got gas for the 5th family member's car. However, storm clouds loom over the horizon, and not the same type of storm clouds which started this whole thing. In a couple hours, I'm going to be meeting my son's biological father for the first time, and I'm going to be having a talk with him. My only
You mean you're going to be meeting your roommate's father? You're going to meet your roommate's parents. That's what you mean.
real goal is to set a good impression so he knows that his son, even if he doesn't consider himself to have a son, is in good hands. However, I also hope to get a chance to really talk with him about transitioning. I very seriously doubt that I have the people skills to fix the relationship between a trans man and a transphobic father in the hour or two that we're going to have together, but goddammit, I have to try. I have to show him how his lack of acceptance makes my boy feel, how unloved he feels. I need to show him.
You guys, I have to tell you, the next two people I'm going to be covering in the whole trans community of the YouTube side, I noticed there's a theme amongst the ones who want to be in charge. It's almost like a cult. It's almost like they try to do this whole thing of divide and conquer. And that divide is separating these people from the actual family members and telling these people that the family members don't love you, blah, blah, blah. And some of them have been tossed out by their family members, and that's why they felt so brave for such nonsense. And these people know this, and that's what makes it so effing sickening.
That accepting his son's transition is a condition of mutual love that is completely impossible to circumvent. If I can't pull it off, then at least I'll know I tried, but the shower that we were promised at that house is far from my first priority when I take the kids over there in a few hours. I'll report back and let you know how it goes. If last night was the beginning of a change in our luck, then I suppose I can only hope for the best and, as always, prepare for the worst. Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to his dad. He was absent. That sure didn't stop the showers from being the most amazing thing I've ever experienced, though. I never, ever, ever, ever want to go half of that time without a shower again. I sent a few texts to our boy's father, though. I invited him to have a meal at our house to get to know us, offered to help him learn a little bit about transgender folk, and had a little back and forth between his adamance in having a say in his child's gender and me desperately pleading with him to listen to his son's feelings and not try to stamp out his agency as an adult, because that's the only thing that's going to preserve their relationship at this point. While I love seeing him as my son, I really don't want him to have to lose a parent.
Again, your roommate already has parents, and it sounds like he's in touch with his parents. It sounds like they have an open line of communication. Again, your roommate.
On that note, a big theme of last night was me trying to help the kids feel the family love by visiting with my parents, and so I brought the boy over to visit my folks again. Him and my biological sister got into a little fight, just one or two things exchanged. He said something that touched on some baggage that my sister was carrying that he wasn't privy to, and she snapped at him for it, seriously hurting his feelings. It was the first time they'd met. I asked her to fill me in on what happened, and then I asked her to talk with him about it and explain why she was so offended by what he said, and she refused. It was kind of emotional. At that moment, I felt like I could just see the writing on the wall. My biological family just isn't capable of talking about their problems in an adult way, seemingly. Shortly thereafter, my son told me that he wasn't super comfortable with trying to see my biological family as his family. He just wasn't comfortable with the tension he felt in the air with my bio family and told me that...
I mean, no shit, Sherlock. He has a family. You guys, how do I explain? He has a family. You're not his parents. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Do you guys understand the level of insanity that I'm dealing with right now? Even though I have a big old smile, like, reacting to this, it's giving me life. But this is whole level, different level of insanity. He has a family, for fuck's sake.
He would prefer they not become such a big part of his life. That must have been horrifying for him to say, especially since it was very clear that making him feel some family love was my whole motivation in bringing him there, but he told me how he felt, regardless of his fear. This 19-year-old boy had the emotional maturity to confront his 26-year-old mother figure when he wasn't comfortable with something. Meanwhile, my sister, who's even older than me, wasn't comfortable confronting a 19-year-old. I almost cried with happiness and pride and crawled down and told my parents that we had to go now. That self-respect, that willingness to talk about uncomfortable subjects in the name of reaching a resolution, I can't help but feel like that's something that we instilled in the boy. We're the ones who taught him how to do that. That's exactly what I was talking about in the honesty video that I published just before this one.
You didn't teach him shit. I'm sorry. That's something that's instilled in him ever since he was a child. You had nothing to do with it. But it's cute that you think you deserve the credit for it, but you don't. You really don't. Lunatic. My favorite lunatic. Jesus.
This is why my found family, young though its bonds may be, kind of already feels stronger than my biological family ever has. My biological family's stuck together. My found family has grown together. That distinction makes me so incredibly proud. Like, I found my own little piece in this universe. Like, I've created for myself the type of life and relationships that I've always wanted but thought were just impossible, especially for me. On the way home, power had been restored at a gas station that's only a minute or two up the road from our house, so I expect that we'll have power within the next 24 hours and might journal in there. In the meantime, though, we've got plenty of water, plenty of food, plenty of propane, and a decent amount of gasoline. Honestly, things couldn't be going any better. I just hope that we can reach some sort of understanding with the boy's father. Things stabilized a little after day 4. On the morning of day 5, we managed to get a great haul from a grocery store that had its doors open again that morning, so we had ample candles, water, food. Things stopped changing quite so much every day. The situation wasn't as dynamic. Everyone had their ups and downs, but a routine of sorts had started to form. My fiancé would cook us all breakfast in the mornings, and we'd all sit around on the porch listening to my guitar and cooking soup around the propane stove at night. Unfortunately, the power still hasn't come back on, so we still have to be incredibly tactical about how we flush the toilets and keep the dishes clean. In fact, just last night our boy's head was so itchy that I had to wash his hair on the porch with nothing but a lot of water and a cup and some shampoo. To be honest, I kind of hope that the power stays out long enough that I get the opportunity to do that with everybody in the house. It was a...
Your roommates. You mean your roommates. But yeah, you guys, this is going a little bit longer than I want to, and my voice is starting to give out again. Sorry, I'm coughing. It's starting to go out a little bit longer than I wanted to. But I just wanted to give you a little bit glimpse of the stuff while I was sick that I've been watching. I hope you're with me on this journey because I'm invigorated again. I'm so invigorated again. But anyways, let me know what you think, you guys. Let me know what you think. I'm all in on this content, and I'll be still checking in on my Canadian bacon, on my Wednesday Addams, and the 2 fat hogs from Indiana, and everybody else, and the Crypt Keeper will still be keeping up with them. But right now, we shall be focusing on the next 2 people that I need to introduce you to. I'm not sure if we like consecutive 2 other videos will be 2 different people. We'll see how that one goes. But yeah. Let me know how you guys feel about this. Let me know how you feel about this content because I'm loving it. I am loving it. Anyways, you guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Later. Bye-bye.